This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The easy all-in-one plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus many extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
Now showing at MIA, artist Mary Sully was a visionary ahead of her time. Born on the Standing Rock Reservation, she worked in near obscurity between the 1920s and 1940s, creating intricate, vividly colored drawings that blend Dakota heritage with modern life. Now on display at the Minneapolis Institute of Art, experience the first solo exhibition featuring Mary Sully's work and see how her art challenges traditional ideas of Native and modern art. Only at MIA and always free to visit. Learn more at artsmia.org. The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Doherty Family College at the University of St. Thomas is your pathway to a bachelor's degree. Located in downtown Minneapolis, Doherty Family College offers an affordable education that includes free textbooks, a laptop, meals, career coaches, and a Metro Transit pass. As a full-time Doherty Family College student, you'll benefit from mentorship from St. Thomas faculty, along with paid internships and support from Minnesota's largest private college. Ready to turn your dreams into reality? Apply now at dfc.stthomas.edu. Doherty Family College, your journey to success starts here. With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies tonight with a low around 49, Thursday a chance for rain with a high near 64, and Friday partly sunny with a high around 60. Don't miss Sasha Colby's Stripped 2 tour, an electrifying blend of dance, storytelling, and drag artistry at the Fillmore Minneapolis on October 9th. Tickets at thefillmoreminneapolis.com. Listen to The Gailey Show and The Matt McNeil Show all week long to win tickets.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hitting cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Chujunk, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Yes, you are right, Dega. This portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, our heart is heavy right now, Chujunk, and we have some issues here in Minneapolis on the south side, and 3 of our relatives were killed and 2 were hurt, and that leads to us talking. I just got confirmation from Brian Joyce that tomorrow's festivities, the parade, the Native American Pride Parade, will be canceled in Minneapolis.
Yeah. We're going to talk about this a little bit more in this segment. So just a warning to for those that may want to tune out. But this is a very hard topic to talk about. This news is still a developing story. I'm still trying to get caught up with it myself. I haven't been on my phone much earlier this afternoon. But 3 Native people dead in a mass shooting on the Minneapolis South Side. No arrests made yet, but 3 people have been killed and 2 are hurt.
Yeah, the shooting happened near 25th and Bloomington Avenue in Minneapolis, which is right about around the Native corridor, and I believe it's outside or by Red Lake's apartment buildings, is what I read.
Yeah, I think I saw that somewhere else too. But those that did pass and started making their journey, Larace Rainey, Ramon Day, and MJ White were those that were identified among the 3 killed in this devastating mass shooting. Yeah, like you said, near 25th Street in Bloomington. But yeah, it was outside of the Amino Bima DZ Win apartment complex owned by the Red Lake Nation. Last Real Indians put out an article here. More than 40 shots have been reported in the shooting on Wednesday afternoon. And that's just one of the 3 shootings that actually occurred in the city within the last 24 hours. The separate shooting that happened late last night on Tuesday left those 3 young Native Americans deceased.
Mhm.
All of the deceased in the last 24 hours are, like I said, Native or Native American descendant.
Yeah, and 2 of them have been their names haven't been released, but non life-threatening injuries, but serious, but non life-threatening injuries. And I'm getting this report right now from Justin Matters on Wiki, and he has a big story about this too. No arrests have been made, as we said earlier. This is a heartbreaking example of senseless gun violence shattering families and communities, said Minneapolis Police Department spokesperson Garrett Partlow. We are asking anyone who was in the area at the time or has any information, no matter how small, to come forward.
Yeah, please do that if you have any information. It's just so hard, you know. A lot of our relatives live in the South Minneapolis area, so if you know anything or you know if you've seen something, heard something, you know of people who were there, you know, please just try to encourage them to speak up and be honest. I mean, people pass. I mean, the gun violence is never okay, and these are real conversations that we need to start having with our relatives and within our community and how we can keep each other safe. I know I saw articles say I think it was CBS. I'm not sure if it was gang related. I did see an article that did say that. But no matter the circumstance, if it's, you know, gang related, native on native violence, non-native on native violence, this has to end. There really is no excuse for this.
Right.
And my heart just goes out to the families that are, you know, no longer with their loved ones. Have them here today.
Yeah, absolutely. And senseless violence, and especially with what's going on against our community. And now this is happening um, with our community, which is really, really, really sad. Also, too, there's some things that are canceled tonight, too, right,
Yeah.
Chuzon?
Yeah, I am seeing this come across my feed. Like we said, this is a developing story. Um, I know MIWRC, Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center, was supposed to do their second kids night out tonight. That has been canceled. MIWRC canceled their events today. I just saw, like you said, Robert, the parade is canceled tomorrow for American Indian Month kickoff day. I just saw something come across my Facebook here, notifications. The powwow at the Minneapolis American Indian Center
Mhm.
is also canceled. So that was after the parade. So
Right.
yeah, I'm not really, yeah, and just really tore up here.
Yeah, definitely. And such a senseless thing. And our prayers are totally for the community, which is our community.
Mm.
And it's a thing that
I just got a text actually here right now from someone who works with the governor and lieutenant governor's office. We are still planning to do a prayer in Cedar Field tomorrow in South Minneapolis, calling for prayers, peace, and to end this gun violence. So if you're able to make that prayer at Cedar Field tomorrow in South Minneapolis, it looks like that is still happening. I would keep keep an eye out on those Facebook Native groups too, just to see if anything else gets canceled. And like we said, this is still a developing story for those 3 natives in the mass shooting in South Minneapolis today and last night.
Is the prayer at 9 in the morning still?
The prayer, the text I got, it's going to be at Cedar Field from 10 to 11.
10 to 11. Okay.
10 to 11, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, again, our prayers are out to the family, the community, and this senseless violence is just a thing that I feel like we don't really have that much, but now it's been 2 days in a row here, so
Yeah.
prayers out and tobacco down, and burn some cedar later, and it's just really disheartening, and it's hard to get on the air and talk about this because it's just so close to home.
Yeah, this really is close to home. Really important that we are talking about it, though. Yeah. Like, okay, so it looks like there's going to be a community at the prayer circle tomorrow at Cedar Field with a drum. So there will be a drum group there for us to
And that's
gather
at
with.
10.
10 to 11, the prayer
Okay.
at Cedar Field in South Minneapolis.
Okay. Yeah, so everyone that can make it there, and
Yeah.
you know.
Hug your relatives and tell them that you love them.
Right, and it's sad too because there's thousands of people that are in this parade celebrating Native American Month, which the history goes it was American Indian Day here in Minnesota, and then the American Indian movement got involved and wanted it a week, then it was 2 weeks, and now it's a whole month, and so uh, it's sad that this has really put a damper on the celebration of who we are, and we're still here.
Yeah, we'll have to come together as a community now and get strength from one another and celebrate these young relatives that lost their lives and just celebrate the life that they did have and come together with the family and support them.
We'll try and get some more updates in the next day or so about what's going on, if the parade's moved to another day or if it's just totally canceled, because there's things going on in the community all month when it comes to Minnesota Native American Heritage Month.
Yeah, so stay tuned and we'll just continue to be there for each other.
Right on. Hey, up next, Arvina Martin will be talking about what she's doing right now and about Emerge Wisconsin, and it's always great to see a relative, and we got a few things to talk about. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. Please stay with us.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Doherty Family College at the University of St. Thomas is your pathway to a bachelor's degree. Located in downtown Minneapolis, Doherty Family College offers an affordable education that includes free textbooks, a laptop, meals, career coaches, and a Metro Transit pass. As a full-time Doherty Family College student, you'll benefit from mentorship from St. Thomas faculty, along with paid internships and support from Minnesota's largest private college. Ready to turn your dreams into reality? Apply now at dfc.stthomas.edu. Doherty Family College, your journey to success starts here.
Support for Native Roots Radio comes from the Walker Arts Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including Indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds, Cheyenne and Arapaho Nation, and Jim Demini, Ojibwe. Additionally, films screen in the cinema and performances are shown on stage. Free every Thursday night and free every day for members and citizens of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org. Again, that's walkerart.org.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by the Native American Community Development Institute, or NACD, in Minneapolis.
Hey, we have our relative and our friend Arvina Martin, Executive Director of Merge Wisconsin, on. And Arvina, it's always great to see you, and I really appreciate you spending some time with us on this solemn day, but also that you're really busy here at Emerge 20th Anniversary Gala in California. And so we really appreciate you coming on. We know you're really busy.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I actually, since I'm away, have not been listening to the news. This is the first I'm hearing of this tragic situation. And to say your hearts and thoughts and prayers are with people seems so trite, but we've got to do more in this country to end gun violence. We just have to. It's awful. And I'm so sorry that your community is hurting right now.
Yeah, it's hard, and it's hard to talk about, but we need to talk about these tough things, and I really agree 100% with you that how hard is it to get a driver's license, but how easy it is to get a gun, and that's a whole nother show. But I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, and when people say don't politicize this, you can't. These situations are inherently political. They just are, and we use them as excuses to not talk about them. And it's absurd to me that we can't talk about something that could heal a situation or fix a situation, or just to have a situation like that not happen again. That I feel that this happens so much that being speechless you feel like you shouldn't be speechless, but I still am.
Right. Well, and the Second Amendment came about when it took 3 minutes to load a gun.
Yeah.
With the muskets. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah. I mean, these are weapons that were beyond the wildest dreams of any of the founding fathers, and to limit policy because of technology at the time is absurd. And technology changes, we need to make sure that policy is updating along with it.
Definitely. Well, let's switch gears a little bit here.
Yeah.
You're in an exciting deal here in California, and again, I really appreciate you coming on, because I know there's all these some parties going on and people hanging out before the gala, and so we appreciate you stopping in and talking real sense to our listeners and to me, and what's going on with Emerge Wisconsin, but also the Emerge Gala.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. I'm coming to you from Berkeley, California, where my cousin / Gaga lives. So I'm visiting her, and able to go to this gala that's happening in San Francisco, honoring 20 years of Emerge America. And we are really excited. We are going to have not visits, but like videos from Katie Hobbs, the governor of Arizona, who is an alum, and our favorite alum, Deb Haaland, will be sending a video as well. But we're really excited because Kamala Harris is actually going to be delivering remarks, and they look to be very pointed, and in response to the president's first 100 days. I mean, and this is also like the first major remarks that the former vice president will be making since the election. So, you know, she's what we like to call our first alum. You know, the organization Emerge was founded by a group of women that that got together to elect Kamala Harris to district attorney in San Francisco. And when they did that, they thought, you know, we could create a program to support and train women on how to run for office, so we have this kind of impact all over the country. And so 20 years ago, that's what they decided to do. And here we are now. We have affiliates in 27 states. We have over 3,500 alums nationwide. We have over 1,200 who are currently serving in office. You know, we are people making big impacts. Our organization, you know, is we just attract amazing leaders like these, like Katie Hobbs and Deb Haaland, and Kamala Harris, and that they, you know, that they are affiliated with the program that I work for is really exciting to me. I'm also, I mean, it's going to surprise you to hear this, a big nerd when it comes to politics and stuff like that. So to be able to work for an organization that has touched the lives of many of my political heroes is really exciting. And you know, it makes me feel good about the impact that I'm able to make here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, that you are making. Hey, I'm wondering, was Sharice Davids involved with the merge?
She wasn't. She is,
Oh,
you know, we are fans of Sharice though.
right.
She came from a different track. You know, she was a White House fellow
That's
before
right.
she ran for Congress. She was an attorney, a practicing attorney, and she also was an entrepreneur. So like
Right.
Sharice has always been a go-getter. I
Mhm.
remember, you know, she used to have the company Hoka Coffee, and
Right.
she had a podcast about entrepreneurship. So, you know, she's always been, you know, at the forefront of whatever she's doing.
Well, and she also was what was that martial arts fighter for 4 or 5
Yeah.
professional fights.
Yeah, mixed martial arts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Her first campaign commercial, I think, showed her taping up her hands like before a fight or before practice or
Mhm.
something like that, and I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
It was just a really great campaign commercial.
Yeah, that's right. She did do a different, track. I remember at general counsel getting, that's when I first met her, when they gave her a blanket for all the great work that she's been that in that fellowship before she
Yeah.
was even running for office. But she, yeah, like you said, she was an entrepreneur. Well, you can't, underestimate what's going on in Emerge, Wisconsin too, because every time I hear, uh what's going on and the great work that you do and all the candidates that have won and the percentages, and it's just amazing, and we need more of this, and I think that's a, you know, 20 years, that's a big deal. Our
Yeah,
marriages don't
and
last that
what's really
long.
an exciting news, breaking news, we
Mhm.
had one of our Emerge Wisconsin alums, Stephanie Hilton, just be appointed to Dane County Circuit Court judge,
Oh,
by our governor Tony Evers. So we are really excited that our number of alums that are in office, that number went up by one this week, even though there was no election. You know, it goes to show that you know, people are making, you know, even before they're elected, they're making their impact known and felt throughout their communities, and see them be appointed to a position like this is really exciting. And I'm really, really proud of Stephanie.
Well, what's really exciting too is what Emerge is doing and Emerge Wisconsin is doing is really the native way. We had elder women, they chose our leaders, our male leaders, and we have to remember that the women led the way. And I think we're not going to get any reasonable kind of satisfaction with any kind of government until we have more women in office.
Oh, absolutely. And science or research bears that out. That when women are part of legislative bodies and part of the legislative process, that there is more legislation that comes out that deals with public health, children's health, maternal health, things like that. And those are issues that once given certain policy solutions can save lives. So and these are things that it's been proven to be an impact that women in office has. And why would you want to exclude 50% of the population from your decision making bodies? It doesn't make any sense. As much as some people don't want to believe it, women are full citizens of this country at this point in time. We are allowed to vote, and we do vote. And we should be at all levels at the same percentage. And I love it. Makes me think of as the Ruth Bader Ginsburg quote. How many women will you be happy with on the Supreme Court? Or when will you be happy? And she said, when there are 9.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm here for that.
Definitely. Right on. Hey, we're here with Arvina Martin, Executive Director of Merge Wisconsin. We're going to talk a little bit about Ho-Chunk Word of the Day and maybe what's happening with the Stockbridge Muncie Band. We'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. Our station is located on a marsh, and we do our best not to disturb that environment. So I was thrilled to discover Natural Lawn. Their safer products and soil tests ensure that your lawn will be healthy, lush, and green. I don't even have to worry about bringing my furry friend to the station, thanks to the great care from Natural Lawn. I highly recommend Natural Lawn to keep your lawn beautiful, healthy, without compromising safety and sustainability. More at naturalawn.com.
Are your remote workers putting your company at risk? Not sure what steps to take to secure your data? Hi, Mark Sommerfeld from Rymark. The Rymark team is guiding our clients through these difficult times. In fact, demand has been so high, we created an easy-to-follow guide with the 5 steps to securely work from home. It's yours free. Download our 5 steps to securely work from home now at rymarkit.com or call 651-328-8900 for a no-cost how-to discussion.
Women, are you ready to empower your wellness? Join Hypercharge Health and Skin Deep Aesthetics for an inspiring evening dedicated to your holistic well-being. It's Empower Your Wellness, an evening for women, happening Tuesday, May 13th from 6 to 9 o'clock p.m. at 7450 France Avenue South, Suite 240 in Edina. This exclusive event is your opportunity to explore innovative approaches to health and beauty with insights from a panel of wellness professionals. Topics include integrative medicine, personalized concierge care, hormone balance for energy and sexual wellness, aesthetics and body contouring to boost confidence, and support for your mental and emotional well-being. Come learn, connect, and take meaningful steps toward a more vibrant, empowered you. Tickets are just $75, and the full amount can be applied toward a future service. Space is limited, so don't wait. Reserve your spot now at hyperchargehealth.com or call 952-247-4785. Empower your wellness because your health, confidence, and peace of mind matter.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hi, it's Penny from Nightingale, your gathering spot near 26th and Lyndale in South Minneapolis since 2012. Come check out the fun and vibrant atmosphere. Besides our traditional favorites like the Nightingale burger and fries, did you know we also have delicious vegetarian and vegan options? Plus, we have one of the best gluten-free menus in town. And for drinks, our bar staff is always creating fun new cocktails along with a thoughtfully curated wine and beer list. Join us at Nightingale where good times and great flavors come together.
This is Andy Otto, your host of Twin Cities Pride Amplified, inviting you to join us this Saturday at 3 p.m. as we dive into one of the most complex conversations in our community, the intersection of religion and the LGBTQIA identity. We're joined by longtime Twin Cities Pride supporter and volunteer Michelle Gunderson, who believes there's room at the table for everyone. Please join us this Saturday at 3 p.m. right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies tonight with a low around 49, Thursday a chance for rain with a high near 64, and Friday partly sunny with a high around 60. Since 1984, Cafe Latte has been serving up the freshest baked goods and modern comfort food in a cafeteria setting. Their menu is prepared with the best ingredients available. Cafe Latte is a leader in sustainable dining, composting their food and paper waste along with recycling everything they can. More at cafelatte.com.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
Hey, we are here with our relative here, Arvina Martin, Executive Director of Emerge Wisconsin. And Arvina, before we get to Stockbridge, we need to talk a little bit about the word of the day. And I just have a statement on that, and that's Macho Hurus, which means a place where you take blue clay from, and that's what they call the Twin Cities.
Can you say that again? Wacha Horus?
Matcha.
Matcha.
M-A-H, matcha. Matcha Horus.
Matcha Horus.
Place
Yay, I
where
like that.
you take blue clay from. Yeah. So there must be blue clay amongst our 15,000 lakes here.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
wow.
somewhere in the Twin Cities. It's a bunch of blue clay.
Yeah.
Maybe along the rivers, probably. Arvina, we didn't pick a Ho-Chunk word today, so it's kind of a free for all. If you can say one of your favorite ones, one of the words that I learned recently was wakachunk, and that means sacred. So yeah, anytime I see like an eagle flying, now I'm like, oh, that's so wakachunk, like so sacred.
Right.
But, yeah.
And Day Wakachunk is the name of Devil's Lake here in Wisconsin. So
is that the lake by the powwow grounds? What lake is over there?
But it's by Baraboo.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about that lake that's kind of hidden from the powwow grounds.
Is that Lake Arbutus?
In Black River?
Yeah, I think that might be Arbutus.
Yeah. And now I know where to go when these hot powwows hit me, is to go to the lake and do a swim and come back.
Yeah, just come take a dip. Preferably get your regalia off first. You don't want to have wet regalia.
You don't want to be like one of those things that are on a fishing rod. What are those called? Jiggers? Or you don't want to be
like the bobber?
Yeah, that too.
Have you been to Devil's Lake, Arvina?
I'm sorry?
Have you been to Devil's Lake?
I have been. I feel like we used to go there for like school field trips and stuff, and I've been out there to recreate and to, it's a really pretty area for hiking and swimming. It's gorgeous. It's easy to see why our ancestors thought it found it to be a very powerful place. It's beautiful and almost, looks a little otherworldly with the rest of Wisconsin. You kind of have a stereotype as to what Wisconsin looks like, and to have this area with all this beautiful lake with like rocky outcrops and everything is maybe not part of that stereotype you have, but it is a very important place to us. And settlers heard Tehuacan and heard Sacred Lake, and they turned it into Devil's Lake because, if it's sacred and it's not Jesus sacred, then it's the devil.
Jeez. You're not even close to being as old as me. You're young enough to be with my daughter, but do you feel like there are so many more eagles now than when you were younger?
I feel like I see a lot of bigger birds, a
Mm.
lot, like more than saw them when I was a kid, whether it's eagles, hawks, I feel like I see
Mhm.
more often. And I've kind of wondered if it was just because I finally saw some and you then you notice it,
Yeah.
or if there are more. I'm not sure. I know that the eagle population has rebounded
Yeah.
since banning of DDT.
Right.
And so, it would make sense that there are more eagles around, birds of prey.
Mhm.
We have an owl that lives us that we find very off-putting. And
Yes.
so just try to be like,
Don't
okay,
look them in the eye. Don't look them in the eye. You know what
no,
that means.
no, like we're not here to hurt you. We're not, leave us
Right.
alone.
Well, I know I'm 63. I'll be 64 in a couple weeks, and I never saw eagles when I was young. I see them all over now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think there's something to that. I do think that there's more, and that is a result of public policy doing
Yes,
something
yep.
based in science that is for the
Mhm.
good of a species, and a species that means a lot to us as Americans, not just as
Right,
Native people, but as Americans too. And
right,
and
right.
you know, again, this was science, this was evidence-based research, that could be repeated, and effective communication that got lawmakers to see what was happening, and people that
Mhm.
were either policymakers or, in the case of like elected lawmakers, or people that were executing policy and putting into policy in place as the Department of Natural Resources and such.
Right.
So I mean, this is the kind of lawmaking that we are not seeing right now.
Yeah,
um
exactly.
yeah, and that's a shame, and I think that we're going to see the detriment as things go, whether it is less money for sciences, less money for disease research, less money in tracking things like COVID and bird flu. I think it's just going to have nothing but negative impacts on us, going forward, and our communities, and people are going to be less safe and less healthy.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, just switching gears a little bit, you know how we always talk about, and it means different things to different people. It isn't specifically physically getting land back, but in this case with Stockbridge Muncie Band, it is getting land back.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I am Stockbridge Muncie through my dad's side, and the Stockbridge Muncie Band of Mohican Indians has purchased a plot of land. It's about 30 or 372 acres of land, and it is in western Massachusetts. It's the northern slope of a place called Monument Mountain, and that is an area that holds special meaning to Stockbridge people. It is a sacred space, for Stockbridge Muncie folks, for Stockbridgers in particular, and this is part of that. It's kind of a land back moment.
Mhm.
The tribe, the tribe did purchase it. So, it was not just given free will, free accord, but the tribe
Mhm.
was able to purchase it and will likely be going through, um, processes of land management, et cetera, because the tribe is now responsible for the natural resource management on the mountain. So I believe the Stockbridge-Bunsey Nation is beginning environmental studies to see what the health of the area is, what it needs to be brought back to full health, and what can be done to protect their protect the sacred lands and sacred lands so far from the lands on which the Stockbridge-Bunsey Reservation now resides. Stockbridge-Bunsey were two tribes. The Stockbridger Mohicans were from Western Massachusetts through New York City, and had land and in those areas. And when we're forced west, we're kind of hooked up with the Munsee tribe of in the Midwest, and they kind of came together and formed one community when they're really two tribes.
And then Shannon Housley, is she president of the Wisconsin branch?
Yes, Shannon Halsey is the president of the Stockbridge-Munsee Band of Mohican Indians. She is a tremendous leader. She's someone I'd like to get into a merge someday. But she's a really thoughtful leader, and she's very intelligent and is really good at looking at all sides of an issue to make sure that the decision she's making is going to be one that serves the most people.
It's interesting too, that she's been around a long time as president, and I think, don't they hold their elections like every year? So she has to get reelected every year. Is that right?
I don't think so. I can't remember what the cycle is, but I do think she has a 4-year term.
Okay, because I tried to look that up. She's been on our show many times and pretty good friends with her, and with my other job that's ending soon here in another 2 months, and I'll be a civilian like everybody else here. Oh, wow.
You can join me in the former electeds club.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. There you go. Well, hey, I got to hear a little bit on our notes here that your uncle, is that Truman Lowe by any chance?
Yep, it
Wow,
is.
let's talk a little about his work, and it's featured in his works featured in many museums, including the Smithsonian National Museum of American Indians, which I've been to a few times.
Yeah, there's going to be a retrospective as to his career and his work at the Smithsonian this fall. We are really trying to make plans to go out there so we can be a part of the opening ceremonies. Actually, his daughter is the one that I'm staying with right now in Berkeley. And so we've been talking about, the work that goes into putting in a retrospective of the amount for the career that he had, which was quite long, and he had such an impact on people's conceptions of what Native art was supposed to look like, and was kind of a new voice in contemporary Native art, and has influenced countless other Native artists. He was actually even the curator of contemporary arts at the NMAI as well, and he put together shows for Robert Morrison and oh my gosh, I'm blanking, Fritz Scholder, who are two contemporary Native artists as well. So he did a lot for Native art, and he was a wonderful human being, one of the funniest people I've ever known, and he's just fabulous.
Right on. Hey, Arvina, we're going to talk more about your uncle on another show, but I appreciate you so much for being on, and you're so busy. And say a hi to the former vice president for us.
I sure will. Thank you so much for having me.
Right on. We'll see you soon. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be right back after the short break.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is often laced into illicit drugs and used to make fake versions of prescription pills. You can't see it, taste it, or smell it. Suppliers mix fentanyl into their products because it's potent and cheap, and the dealer might not even know. Keep yourself and others safe by knowing the real deal on fentanyl. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Support for Native Roots Radio comes from the Walker Art Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including Indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds, Cheyenne and Arapaho Nation, and Jim Demini, Ojibwe. Additionally, films screen in the cinema, and performances are shown on stage. Free every Thursday night and free every day for members and citizens of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org. Again, that's walkerart.org.
Summer is fast approaching. How will your teens spend their days? Reconnecting Our Roots is a unique opportunity for Native American teenagers from the Twin Cities area. Students will engage in cultural activities and learn about Native histories rooted through Minnesota Makoche in a welcoming environment. The summer session runs July 14th through the 18th at the Minnesota History Center, and a stipend is available for those who attend each day. Learn more and apply now at mnhs.org/NEI.
Now showing at MIA, artist Mary Sully was a visionary ahead of her time. Born on the Standing Rock Reservation, she worked in near obscurity between the 1920s and 1940s, creating intricate, vividly colored drawings that blend Dakota heritage with modern life. Now on display at the Minneapolis Institute of Art, experience the first solo exhibition featuring Mary Sully's work and see how her art challenges traditional ideas of Native and modern art. Only at MIA and always free to visit. Learn more at artsmia.org.
Hi, this is Governor Walz. Thank you for listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
In this portion of the show, we like to bring awareness to our Minnesota wolf population. Say no to the hunts.
No! See how I threw that no in there.
I really did hear that.
Well, hey, do we have any more updates on the tragedy of what happened here in South Minneapolis? And I know tomorrow there's the parade's canceled, the powwow is canceled at 3. But we did talk a little bit earlier, Haley, about a get together of prayer and drum at 10 a.m. at Cedar Field, I believe.
Yes. So if you're just tuning in to the end of our show today, we were talking about this a bit in the first segment. There was a mass shooting that happened in South Minneapolis in our American Indian community late last night, Tuesday. And then also a couple more rounds, I think, happened today on Wednesday. But 3 people are deceased, 2 hurt. I think, Robert, you said they are non-life-threatening injuries for the 2 people that are hurt. But yeah, this is just so devastating. It is still a developing story. I've been seeing a few updates on Facebook. I know NACD put out an update for the safety of our community and to the respect for those who are grieving due to these recent tragedies. The American Indian Kickoff Parade tomorrow is being canceled, as well as the Indian Health Board groundbreaking celebration. And the Minneapolis American Indian Center's powwow is also canceled. I know MIWRC, Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center, was planning on doing their second kids' night out tonight. That has also been canceled. But people are planning to meet at Cedar Field tomorrow at 10 a.m., 10 to 11 for a prayer. There's going to be a drum group. Bring your medicines, bring your relatives. You can never have too much medicine. Bring your shell, your cedar, your sage, your tobacco to put down and pray. And I just want to say too, like, if you are able to show up, please do. This is not just for Native people. I think we could all really use the support and healing from everyone in our community. So if you were planning on joining tomorrow's events to join our community in celebrating American Indian Month, please do still come to the prayer tomorrow at 10 o'clock at Cedar Field.
Yeah, good words there, Chujanka. It's really unbelievably hard for us to speak about this because it really hits us really close to home, and our prayers to the community and to the families that are really affected by this. I just can't say that enough. I really can't.
Yeah, the address for Cedar Field too is 2500 Cedar Avenue, Minneapolis. Again at 10 a.m. So bring your medicine, your tobacco, everything like that too. This is, I mean, just I don't really even have the words.
Right.
This is our relatives being murdered. It's gun violence. This is another case of MMIR. I know no one's been arrested yet. It's still a developing story. But May is American Indian Month, and there actually is something going on next weekend. There's a 5K for our missing and murdered Indigenous relatives. I'm going to go back to our notes here, but Sunday, May 4th is actually the National Day of Awareness for missing and murdered Indigenous relatives. Here in Minneapolis, I know on Sunday from 2 to 4, people are meeting at Thomas Beach at Bade-Macoska for a community 5K. This is, you can run or walk at your own pace, really just wear red, show up and walk for our relatives that, are still missing or have been murdered. And some families will be there too from victims, I'm sure, to honor their relatives. So if you can just be there on Sunday or in your own way, honor those missing and murdered Indigenous relatives.
Yeah, just to update our friends out there like Nina that might have come in a little later. No, they have not found who the shooters are. They're still out there. So our prayers are out there too, that because it's been 2 days of this, Haley. We had it yesterday, last night, and then also today. Last night is where the 3 young natives were murdered in a drive-by. So
young, very young.
Mhm.
I'm not sure exactly the age. I'm just looking at their pictures here, but very young relatives, and this is just tragedy. And gun violence is, something we need to be talking about, like Arvina said. Just because sometimes it is politicized doesn't mean that it's a conversation we can't have with people.
Right, and what isn't politicized, so give me a break. I think that's just a pushback, and again, I'm for hunting, I'm for, all those things. I don't hunt personally, but, uh, there's ways, there's 24-hour delays of getting your license, there's all these things that can be done that is just a big pushback, and, you know, uh these guns are not for hunting, they're just, for mass destruction, and we know that. And someone like you, Haley, that's, 26 or 27, I can't remember, 29, 30, somewhere around there,
Not 30 yet.
is that, this is a daily thing for you, uh, from when you're in school, these mass shootings, these are something new to somebody old like me. Columbine was the first one that started this, I almost swore there, but started this, and now we have mass shootings every day.
Yeah, it really is something that we hear about a lot more often. Just even since I've graduated high school, I feel like school shootings have really geared up, unfortunately. I don't know. I think I'm pretty grateful that the parade was canceled. I
Yeah.
can't even think about if anything were to happen in a large crowd with all of our relatives. So I think just
Right.
being on the safe side to cancel that is good on
Well
the community leaders.
it's so cool that you say that because I was all about going there in defiance, but, the smarter heads prevailed here because that is, especially if they're still out on the loose and there's still bad feelings and going on, and a lot of times we see our young ones are getting the crossfire of these, worthless feuds that go on and, disrespects and all that,
Yeah.
so innocent people, and everyone's innocent too that's been murdered.
Even if you're not, you
Right.
don't deserve to be murdered.
Exactly.
But I was going to say something and now I'm kind of forgetting.
Now you're like me.
No, I'm like,
I'm
that
rubbing
was a
off.
good point. No, but like, yeah, I think just like still showing up to support in prayer tomorrow. If you're able to do that at Cedar Field, that'll be huge. And yeah, I know that there's American Indian Month is a whole month.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a bunch of other events going on. And tomorrow it's just about showing up for these communities, these families that have lost their loved ones.
Well, come May 9th to the Ho Chunk 5K, which there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that show up for that. But I think especially to see our Chu Junk Haley running that 5K in a good way.
I'll definitely be there in a good way. I don't know about running, but yeah.
Well, I just appreciate everybody listening to the show, and we really have to say prayers up and to the community and tobacco down for sure. We need to resist, unite, and rise, and I truly believe that. And with darkness, when it gets the darkest, it's just before sunrise. So let's keep our prayers and our heads up. And appreciate you, Haley. And this has been Native Roots Radio, and Pinigi to all our supporters and sponsors. We'll see you tomorrow.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native